Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. We are here and it is season number 4. We are a whole 1 year old. It's insane to think that a year ago it was just this little tiny little league of 8 people who'd never met each other before, didn't know anything about each other. And here we are a whole year later, there's now 20 of us, there's 2 leagues. And wow, there's been 3 seasons of this absolute craziness. Somehow, you guys are still here along for the ride and haven't got completely sick of me just yet. But all the same, it's going to be very, very exciting. Of course, you have already seen all the teams in both divisions. If you haven't, go check out Aaron and Crizzle's little team preview on the Premier Division teams. We have, of course, got 4 brand new teams, so I want to give you all a very big welcome to the Tendor Melmetals, the Welsh Warriors, the Crimic Colossals, and of course, welcoming back the one, the only, our Season 1 champion, Latvian 71, the Miami Heat. So great to have Latvian back with us, and I'm sure he's gonna bring back that Season 1 form. You know, I know he was disappointed about having to leave us last season, and it's gonna be really exciting to see what he can do now he's back. But let's take a quick look at those 12 teams. There is, of course, our British Pokemon League Premier Division. We, of course, now split into 2 divisions. We've got the Premier Division and the Championship Division. There is now promotion and relegation between said 2 divisions. The bottom 2 of the British Pokemon League Premier Division being automatically relegated. The top 2 from the Championship being automatically promoted. 9th and 10th in the Premier Division and 3rd and 4th in the Championship Division will then go on to play a relegation playoff. The winners of those playoff matches will either stay where they are or be promoted, depending on if it's a Championship Division team. So that could be really, really spicy. So it's not just playoffs you've got to play for. You know, if you're not finishing in those bottom 2 spots, you know, you could either be in playoffs or you could have a chance to sort of fight for your Premier Division life. And you know, same in the Championship Division. You don't quite make it into that top 2, no sweat. You still have a shot at making it up to the Premier Division. And it's going to be really exciting to see what the end of Season 4 looks like, you know, what the state of play is going to be. Are we going to see some returning teams from the previous seasons come back to the Premier Division? Are we going to see some shocks, some surprises, get relegated down? Because oh boy, is this one hell of a competitive league this season. But let's take a look at our schedule then for match week number 1. They're kicking things off this week is, of course, one of our new boys, the Welsh Warriors, coached by Matrix, taking on one of our OGs, the man himself, Big Dog Dave, and his Newcastle Thundurus, of course, has been here for a whole year. And yeah, 4 seasons later, still here, still kicking around. Has come back off what is probably one of his strongest seasons yet in Season 3. So we'll be looking to build on that. And of course, Matrix, I'm sure, will be looking to start things off strong. And you know, really stamp his authority on the league. Second up, we have got our back-to-back double champion, Aaron's Inglorious Surfers, taking on Dogsy and his Shadow Kings. Dogsy, of course, losing out in the playoffs round 1 in Season 3 to Aaron. So we'll be looking to get a little bit of revenge on the Inglorious Surfers and try and start off in a positive way. Next up, the return of the Bulu Boys. Of course, myself, we took the name Wobble Fett Ninjas last season while we were teaming with Weo. But the Bulu Boys are back, hopefully back with a vengeance, up against another one of the new boys. It is the Crimic Colossals. Hopefully I haven't butchered that name. Coached by the man himself, Dr. Dave. So again, Dr. Dave will be looking to sort of start things on the right foot, start things brightly, and see what he can do in his first season in the British Pokemon League. Of course, all of the new teams did come through the British Pokemon League qualifiers, and Matrix and Dr. Dave, Kirky and Lat, of course, finishing in the top 4 in those. Up next, we have got the Long Island Goombies versus the Swindon Rookadies, our 3rd place team from Season 3 playoffs. Again, just like Dave, Silly had his strongest season to date last season. Really pushed everyone to their limit and came very, very close to making it in the grand finals, but was beaten by Crizzle and his South Croydon Souls. Came ever so close to doing it though, and he'll be looking to repeat last season's strong season. Of course, Draco making it one step further last season in the playoffs. Went out in round 1 in you know, sort of the first hurdle in Season 2 in his debut season. Went a little bit further last season, but losing out unfortunately to Crizzle and his South Croydon Souls. Crizzle with that dream loses bracket run, of course. If you did miss that, you can go back and watch our Season 3 playoff special show on our YouTube channel. You'll find the links and socials on our Twitter page. Then we have got the returning Latvian and his Miami Heat against the debuting Tendor Melmetals. Of course, Kirky and his Melmetals did beat Latvian in the qualifiers, but Latvian will be looking to try and get the one up here and get his revenge on Kirky and start things out as he means to go on in the British Football League. We'll be looking forward to seeing a strong season from Latvian and his Miami team. And finally, rounding off this week's action will be the South Croydon Saws taking on Space City PC. Both times these two played last season, it was one hell of a game. And of course, the playoffs match ending in very, very controversial fashion with the one-turn wake-up in that game too from the Ferramosa, proving to be so pivotal. And you know what a hell of a game that was, knocking the Space City PC out of playoffs in the process. So again, me and we'll be looking a little bit of justice on that one. But let's take a look at the teams in our first game then. It is the Newcastle Thundurus taking on the Welsh Warriors, and you may notice a sort of running theme in Matrix's team. He is of course running a steel monotype team, so I absolutely love this team to death. I've wanted to run steel monotype for so long, and I never quite have the balls to do it, but Matrix has gone one further. He's got out his iron cojones and he's went for it, and what a team he has put together. Heat ran Metagross, of course, Metagross having that ability to mega, and Heat run in this format, of course, getting access to a few moves that it would normally get access to. That eruption going to be so strong. You know, Klefki is going to be able to set up the sun and play around the weather there, and really help Heatran and Metagross do its thing. And of course, a few of them are the steel types. Obviously, going to be weak to fire types, so that you know, fire moves. So Klefki is going to be all important in that one. Of course, it's got the Empoleon, Togedemaru, Aggron, Klinkan, Steelix, Fortress, Skarmory, and Bronzor. I know Matrix was wanting the Bronzor, unfortunately went Aaron's way during the draft process, but all the same, has put together a strong team. You know, I think it works out in both speeds. You know, is mostly a slow Trick Room team, but of course does have that tailwind on the Skarmory if he wants to go for a faster option. Metagross, of course, obviously getting quite a high speed tier as well, so something that Dave is going to have to be careful of as well is just keeping an eye on that Metagross. We saw a little bit of its destructive power last season on almost California Bastion's team, so you're interested to see what Matrix can do here. Over on Dave's team, Dave's team looking very similar. It's very much a Dave team, I think. He wouldn't mind me saying that. You've got your Intim, in Incineroar, and also Lando T. Obviously, Dave had Lando T back in Season 2. He has brought back the Ferrothorn and the Weezing Galar from and Jumpler from last season team as well, the Probopass, and has brought along the Indeedee Mail and Rotom Wash. Those are the only two sort of ones that you sort of wouldn't really expect out of Dave, but you have to say Dave knows what he's doing when it comes to the pivot play with the parting shots and U-turns, and really getting the best out of Incineroar and Ferrothorn. You know, he proved time again last season when he went on a big long winning run, sort of midway through Season 3. Just the destructive power of, you know, the stall element of his team, and just how annoying the Incin and Ferrothorn can be. And there's also added Octillery, which, you know, Octillery is definitely something to not sleep on. You know, you let this thing, you know, protect and start getting its ability off and buffing its stats, and you know, it becomes scary very quickly. Definitely something gonna have to keep an eye out is that Probopass. Very bulky boy, does have the 2-4 times weaknesses, however, gets a whole host of you know, moves that could be quite difficult for Matrix to deal with, and of course does have wide guard, so definitely gonna have to keep an eye on for that if the heat run is going to be leading. But without further ado, let's get into this one now. First game of Season 4 of the British Pokemon League. It is Newcastle Thundurus taking on the Welsh Warriors, and Dave does kick things off with the Landorus Therian and of course the Probopass. Matrix with the Klefki and the heat run, of course the Intim dropping the attack, but that's not going to matter too much to the heat run, and the Probopass does have the balloon then, so gonna really keep itself close and keep itself from getting that ground damage. The Wide Guard just come out and stops that eruption. That's a really huge turn one, and in comes the Earthquake, and that takes out the heat run, gets the critical hit as well, which could be all important. It does a big chunk of damage to that Klefki, and that's a great start there from Dave, getting that Wide Guard in and just stopping that heat run from what it wants to do. Is that in comes the Metagross there. Great start there from Dave there. So gotta be careful on this Metagross, of course, does have a whole host of moves. We've seen in the past running things like Ice Punch and things like that. Of course, given both the steel moves and ground moves are always going to be something to keep an eye on. So but the switcheroo comes out from the Klefki, that's going to give the Iron Ball to the Landorus Therian. It's going to make it slow as the Ice Punch is going to take out the Lando T. How they're going to get some really good damage onto that Metagross in revenge, and that is now 1 apiece. Both 3-3. Really good start from both coaches there, because the Ferrothorn is not going to want to be in this position in the sun. Thankfully, the heat run is taken care of, so Dave's going to feel a little bit more comfortable in the position with the front form. But got to try and take care of that Metagross now and stop it from getting any more damage off. As that Klefki has took the Archieberry from Lando T, so that's some good information. With Metro just go for the switcheroo again, gives the rocking helmet, but to Klefki, Hammerarm's going to take care of the probo pass, and Metagross does drop his speed thanks to Hammerarm, but that's another kill. That's a 3 turns in, and it's already a chaotic start. Matrix with the advantage up to now then. As the Rotten Wash switches in, so we know Rotten Wash does have a decent move build here for dealing with the Metagross. As you can see, Alex and Shadow Ball has a Zen head, but it's not making too much damage off. Shadow Ball is going to take care of that Mega Metagross though, and there's the Dazzling Gleam and the time from Klefki, not really going to get too much damage off. Body Press going to take care of the Klefki on the side of the Ferrophone, and now it is all up to Empoleon. Then it is a 1v2 situation, looking like a really strong start here for Div. That wide guard proving to be so clutch in the time when his protect comes out from the Empoleon. Will-O-Wisp is going to miss thanks to that protect, and he's going to keep himself from taking that lead seat for just the 10, and now Sun does at least run out. The Will-O-Wisp is going to land this time, and that's going to stop the attack of the Empoleon. There's the Ice Beam, not really doing too much, and Leech Seed does go up for the Ferrophone, so Ferrophone with that 2 times defense as well, so going to very much depend on what ability that Empoleon is running. You would expect it to be the Defiant with the amount of stat drops running on Dave's team. We have seen Ice Beam there, so I'm guessing a mixed set potentially. Empoleon Body Press though, that's going to take the Empoleon down to 5% damage, and then Ben's going to take it out, and Dave is going to take the lead in this one. A great start there for the Thundurus, and Matrix now with it all to do and try and bring himself back into that game. Let me just turn down the music for you guys. That might be better. I might have out the wrong mic setting. I've done that a few times before. That might be better. Alright, so it is Defiant Empoleon, so do get to find that out, and it is in comes the Togedemaru next to that Empoleon. This time Dave switching up as well, Lando T with that Indeedee Mail. So Lando T has been, he has found out that it is the Yachi Berry, and Defiant is going to proc thanks to that Intim from the Lando T, so that's, it's got to be scary on Dave's side. You don't want to let this Empoleon get up. There's a fake up from the Togedemaru because it's flying type, is going to stop that Lando T, so there's Expanding Force. It gets some half decent damage away on to Matrix's side, but the Liquidation is going to take care of that Lando T, and we said that Defiant proc could end up being costly, and Lando T goes down again as in comes the Ferrophone then. Try and tank some of this damage from the said Empoleon. We mentioned before the match started, Dave really knows how to get the best out of these, these mons, and has got the Indeedee Mail and the Rotten Wash to take care of. Liquidation only just hangs on to the Indeedee Mail. There's another Expanding Force. Body Press is going to get rid of the Togedemaru, and Dave does tie us up at 3 apiece now then, so that's good stuff though from Dave. That Indeedee Mail is looking in a very, very dangerous spot now. Of course, doesn't have the Lando T to take care of the heat run this time, so this could be curtains for this Ferrophone here. It's not in a good spot, and no Pro Ball Pass sat next to it either, so no wide guard can come its way. It's really got to be careful here. You would think the Eruption is going to be just more than enough to take out both mons. Matrix looking in a pretty strong position here on turn number 3. What a chaotic start to this match though, just absolutely just, very much against what usually goes, the usual way the Dave games go. You typically expect them to go longer than 10-10 and it'd be a little bit of a stall fest, but just both players just in such fast pace. Heat Wave comes out instead of the Eruption, but it misses the Ferrophone. It is going to get rid of the Indeedee Mail. Liquidation is going to come out, and the Empoleon is going to take damage from the Iron Barbs and that Rocky Helmet, so that's really big. There's the Body Press from the Ferrophone. Get some decent damage away Eruption, to Heat Run, sorry, as now in comes the Rotom Wash then, so it is 2v3. Dave in a little bit of a good spot with that Rotom Wash if it is running the Hydro Pump. We saw it running the Will-O-Wisp before, of course. They may look to try and hit the Will-O-Wisp on the Empoleon just to try and stop what it wants to do. As the Shadow Ball comes in, that potentially is a great prediction there from Dave. Gets the Shadow Ball out and hits it in that Metagross, obviously not taking out, but gets some really good damage off it there. And wow, if that was a prediction, then that was absolutely crazy stuff there from Dave. Empoleon taking even more damage thanks to that leech. There's the Zen Headbutt from the Metagross. Goes for the Will-O-Wisp this time, is going to sort of stop the damage on the Metagross. Liquidation for the Empoleon, not quite enough, and the Ferrophone is going to go for the Iron Defense. Again, got to be careful because that Heat Run now is going to get that free switch in, as it is a 2v2 Heat Run. Completely free to go for an Eruption here, and this could be quite scary situation for that Ferrophone, as we mentioned earlier. Dave's got to try and take care of that heat run first. Protect comes out from the Rotten Wash. There's the heat wave, and Matrix not testing the eruption, but the heat wave does hit this time and takes care of the Ferrophone anyway, so it doesn't matter. And now it's all up to Rotten Wash, and this one looks like the Matrix is going to tie us up at 1 apiece. Great stuff there from Matrix. I thought he brought it back really well in that first game as well, and still made it close, and he's played that one really smart as we go into a game number 3. So really close stuff here from our first match of this season, as you would expect. Both players going at us. Now Dave does bring out the promo pass again this time to give him that wide guard potential, and Matrix switching up again, going with the Empoleon and the Klefki, and Rotom Wash this time sat next to that promo pass. So Empoleon not going to take too kindly to that Rotom Wash. Thunderbolt's going to get some good damage off there, but you would expect one of Insane and Lando T to be sitting in the back for Dave, so again, got to be careful with those Defiant procs. You don't want to give this thing too much damage out, but the switcher is going to come out from the Klefki again. That's really great stuff from there. The Thunderbolt is going to get protected, and Will-O-Wisp going to miss as well. That was Thunderbolt from the promo pass there, I think, which is crazy stuff. It's in disbelief that this thing gets electric moves. It gets Volt Switch as well, which is just insane. This big freaking rock with a mustache, and it's out here just like freaking Thor. Pretty passive start to the game this time round. A little bit less chaotic, so both players trying to play a little bit more passively. The Iron Ball onto the Rotom Wash could be really huge. There's the Rain Dance comes out, and there's the Thunderbolt into the Empoleon, gets some good damage to the Will-O-Wisp. Dave trying to sort of counteract in case that Defiant comes out. Liquidation not quite doing enough to the Pro Pass, so Pro Pass incredibly bulky, of course, managing to hang on through that even in the rain. I know Empoleon's base attack stat isn't too high, but still that's some that's some pretty good defensive work there on that promo pass. Turn number 3, ally switch just come out from promo pass this time, so that's the dazzling gleams have gone too much, and the Rotom Wash gonna come to live that liquidation. There's the Hex from the Rotom Wash as well, so Dave really bringing out the sort of variety in the move pool here. We moved on to turn number 4. The past few games, there was at least 2 Mons dead by this point, but this time really a lot more of a passive game, taking their time to see what each other's going to do, and Protect's going to come out from the Rotom Wash. Klefki with the switcheroo is going to give the leftovers then to the Empoleon to counteract that burn damage, and is going to get rid of the Probo Pass this time. So that's really smart stuff there from Matrix as well, just making sure that burn damage is being counteracted, as now in comes the Ferrophone then. So Matrix got to be careful. He's got to try and stop this Ferrophone from setting up those iron defenses. It could get quite scary. Of course, Dave knows that heat run is sneaking around in the back, and the liquidation comes out again from the Empoleon. Not quite doing enough. And the Will-O-Wisp though is going to miss on the Klefki. The Leech Seed going to land, and that's going to start taking some damage away from the Klefki, as the burn damage does get neutralized again thanks to that leftovers. Really smart switcheroo plays there. Really got to pay respect to that. Both players really playing this one very well. What a game we have to kick off this here. The switcheroo comes out again, gives a Shucker Berry to the Ferrophone and gets rid of that Rocky Helmet. Will-O-Wisp is going to land this time just to try and get some more of that chip damage, and now in comes the Iron Defense onto the Ferrophone as well. So just Dave just playing where he's comfortable in that sort of stall type play, just slowly chipping away at Matrix's Mon's health. He needs to get rid of that Empoleon though as soon as possible, so he can bring in either the Intin or Lando T, whatever's kicking around in the back, because he's going to need, especially that Lando T, to take care of that heat run. Ferrophone with that 2 times defense amongst the iron defense again. Matrix got to be careful of that. The body presses are going to be real good into his steel type team. Protect comes out from the Rotom Wash. The Sunny Day, so sees that the potential of the Empoleon's going down this time. The Leech Seed comes out from the Ferrophone. Is that going to get rid of it this time thanks to the burn? No, not quite, but Matrix playing it smart there, playing the long game, knows that he's got to get heat run in to take care of this Ferrophone and doesn't want the the rain to stay up. Again, smart stuff there, controlling the weather. Dave with no way to change that or reset that, so really got to play it careful and potentially try and slowly but stall out that sun. But you've got to expect heat run's going to be coming in next. Now T's going to switch in. That is going to put the Defiant on the Empoleon. give it that buffed attack. Dazzling Gleam comes out, it's not really going to get too much damage off. And the Ice Beam, oh, the Rotom Wash just so bulky. There is the Hex from the Rotom Wash. Is that going to get rid? It does get rid of the Klefki thanks to the Leech Seed, and the Leech Seed damage takes there in Empoleon. So all of a sudden it's 2v3, but now Heatran switches in. Of course, Heatran, it does look to have that choice scarf that is moving super fast. And this could be curtains here with one eruption. Is it going to do enough damage to that Landorti though? Probo Pass gone, of course, so no Wide Guard to help out Dave here. Metagross goes for Mega. The Ice Punch is going to take out that Rotom Wash. There's now 2v2. In comes the Eruption. There's a single tag and the critical hit. And it takes out the Landorti. So much damage from that full health Eruption. I think Landorti just didn't stand a chance there either way. Now Ferrothorn with it all to do. I think it's not going to matter either way. It's not going to live the Eruption. And Matrix is going to take this one 2-1 and start things off with a win in his debut season in the British Pokemon League. What an absolute phenomenal game to kick things off in this week's show. Damn, the first two games were just like so chaotic, and then you know game 3 was just the complete opposite until the very end. You know, Matrix was like, I'm gonna stop playing with him now. You know, stop toying with him. Brings in the Heatran and just absolutely swipes the poor Landorti. And yeah, man, obviously that was Dave's only real answer to take care of that Heatran in the end game, and Heatran with the scarf was never gonna never gonna live that. So GG's to both players, and great games there to Matrix, starting off strong with that Steel Monotype team. It's always great to see, you know, sort of a techie team like that start off really well. So it's gonna be really exciting to see how Matrix does for the rest of the season, and I'm sure Dave will be back with a bang. You know, we saw last season how strong he'd been, so I fully expect Dave to bounce back. On our second game, then, it is the Inglorious Surfers taking on the Shadow Kings. So these two have a bit of a history, of course, of come to blows quite a few times over the last couple of seasons, but Aaron with the advantage in the head-to-head, and of course the most recent tie taking place in Season 3 playoffs, Aaron taking that one 2-0. And knocking Dogsy down to the losers bracket. But of course, new season, new teams, and you know, anything could happen. You know, Dogsy is a strong player. We've seen him beat Aaron before, so yeah, it's you know, let's not count anyone out. But two very strong teams here. Of course, it could be quite a bit of a potentially a weather war here going on. Of course, you've got the Pelipper with that drizzle ability, and Abominable Snow, which can of course potentially be Mega Abominable Snow with that snow warning. You know, both abilities are going to be there to help out each other's mons. Of course, the Arctivish is going to synergize really well with that Abominable Snow, with that Slush Rush, and on the side of Aaron, of course, has got the Swift Swim on the Swampert, which could be Mega Swampert, but the Rain also going to keep alive things that are weak to fire, such as Bronzong, Rillaboom, and of course that Mawile, which you're going to be expecting Aaron to Mega here. You know, that thing with the huge power is basically just like Bargain Bin, Zacian Crown. So surprise, Aaron's went for the Fairy Steel one again. But nah, it's the both teams are really exciting here. And Dogsy's picked some, you know, phenomenally strong mons that work in both sets of speed. You know, you've got the Melmetal, the likes of the Umbreon, Abominable Snow, and things like that, and Camerupt, of course. You know, we saw Dogsy use that Camerupt to great effect last season. Of course, now can go for the Mega this time. So a lot of mons in there that can work in both sets of speed, and you know, you've got the Slush Rush there to get that you know, that speed control on that side of things. On Aaron's side, of course, you expect him to be going for the Trick Room just to sort of get the best out of that Mega Mawile with that Bronzong, but of course can go for the Tailwind with the Pelipper as well. Not going to be Prankster, but you know, and not that it matter. You know, Pelipper's pretty damn bulky, so you'd expect Aaron to try and go for something like that. Of course, Pelipper with that Wide Guard as well is going to really counteract you know, things like the Coco going for a Discharge, or Camerupt going for those Eruptions. So definitely something that's going to be in Dogsy's mind as he's winning for Prep. Calls Wide Guard on that Swampert as well. Something to keep an eye on, you know. So Aaron's going to be able to keep Dogsy guessing here with what he's going to go for his Mega, because there's a few mons there that have the ability to do that. So it's going to be a very interesting tie. Got to be careful if he does bring the Rillaboom along, of course. Rillaboom going to set up that grassy terrain. You don't really want to give the other side that advantage over Swampert with that 4 times grass weakness. So definitely something to keep an eye out for Aaron. It'd be interesting to see if that duo comes at all and whether Aaron risks it. But let's go into this one then. It is the Inglorious Efforts taking on Dogsy's Shadow Kings. And just a little bit of a screen freeze here. There's a little bit of a... for some odd reason, whenever I edited this, it just kept coming out with the screen freeze. So it will reset and we'll get things started. But Dogsy is leading out with the Abomasnow and the Artifice. So it is the Slush Rush Snow Warning duo. And Aaron kicking things off with the Pikachu and the Swampert. Of course, Pikachu with that Lightning Rod ability is going to pair really well with Pelipper at the times of the season. But no Pelipper this time. He's got the Morwell Swampert, Venomoth, Bronzong, Pikachu, and Turtonator. And Dogsy has got the Coco, Electivire, Abomasnow, Bruxish, Arctivish, and the Melmetal then. So Bruxish, of course, with that Dazzling ability, is going to be able to stop those priority moves. So good stuff in the team building there for Dogsy, and saw the potential in the Grassy Glide and Fake Out on Aaron's side, and has brought the Bruxish along just to try and handle that. Is that Swampert going to be Mega? Of course, Morwell is in the back there. I'd be very shocked to see the Swampert go for the Mega here, but it is a possibility. Pikachu, I think, always coming to this matchup when you've got the Coco and Electivire kicking around, but Aaron definitely going to have to watch out for those discharges. Very, very scary stuff if he's not careful. But two Mons there that can handily do that. Bruxish does switch in. It's going to stop that Fake Out. It's a great read there from Dogsy. And the Vicious Rend going to get rid of that Pikachu straight off the bat. So no Focus Sash on that Pikachu. And the hail damage can do a little bit of chip away to Bruxish. And the Swampert is now Bronzong switches in for Aaron. So Aaron, you're going to be expecting him to try and go for the Trick Room here just to enable that Mega Morwell to be able to switch in or rotate in and make best use of that. But great start there from Dogsy, getting rid of that Lightning Rod user may enable that electric duo to come in, or at least one of them to come into the fray and get some damage away. Of course, we know Coco does run that Grass Knot, as we saw. And Morwell does switch in. There's a Vicious Rend that gets some really great damage away. The Morwell Liquidation is going to get rid of the Morwell, and all of a sudden it's a 2v4 as Bronzong does get the Trick Room up, and it is leftovers Bronzong as well, so it enables itself to get back up to full HP after that hail damage. A really strong start here from Dogsy, as now in comes the Swampert then, so 2v4 and 10 number 3, and already 2 Mons down for Aaron. So Dogsy coming out of the gate swinging. He is not holding back. That Arctivish really getting the damage off with those Vicious Rends. Aaron really got to try and turn this round. He is well timed to be able to do that because that Arctivish is going to be super fast thanks to that hail. Iron Defense does come out from that Bronzong. There's the Earthquake, because the Levitate's going to stop that from taking any damage. Like, it's some good damage with Bruxish and Arctivish, but not quite enough. The defense drop onto the Swampert could be really huge. A Vicious Rend, almost taking out the Swampert. The hail damage almost taking out the Swampert as well. So this looks to be Bronzong's got it all to do here. With 3 times it left to Trick Room to go, but it has got the Iron Defense up, which could be really good. Those, if it is running Body Press, it's going to deal really well into some of these, these Ice Mons. That Dogsy is running. Iron Defense goes off again. There's the high horsepower on the Arctivish. Arctivish is going to hang on. Liquidation though from the Bruxish is going to hang on. So there's 1v4. There's a Vicious Rend and the Arctivish not quite doing as much thanks to the Trick Room being up. Vicious Rend obviously not getting the damage boost if it doesn't go first. Maybe would have done a little bit more if the Trick Room wasn't up, but this is not, Aaron's not out of this yet. Both those Mons there, physical and Bronzong with that 3 times defense, they're not going to be able to get much damage off away, and the leftovers is going to be recovering some of that damage. But Dogsy in a really, really strong position here with 2 times after Trick Room. It's going to be interesting to see what that Melmetal's kicking around the back as Body Press comes out of Bronzong and does take care of the Arctivish. There's Liquidation onto the Bronzong, but the leftovers just going to, nullify that at least half of that damage. 1 turn left of Trick Room then. Are we about to see a Registeel level comeback from Aaron? We saw him do it before in Season 2 Plus against 200 Candies. Is he about to do it again? That Bruxish on pretty low health, and that would make it down to a 1v2. This would be absolute scenes here as a Melmetal does switch in. 1 turn and Trick Room left to go. Of course, that Melmetal is very strong defensively, but those Body Presses are going to be doing some big, super effective damage all the same. There's the Darkest Larius. That's going to ignore the defense boost. Is that going to be enough? Body press gets some really good damage off there. There's the liquidation. Takes the Bronzong down to 3% health. The leftover is going to bring up to 9%. Now Trick Room is over. But of course, that Bronzong is going to be faster than that Melmetal. Melmetal moving first there. So Bronzong comes out with the Protect, allowing Aaron to get some more of that health back and taking out a liquidation range. So the Dogsy cannot take care of it with the Bruxish if the Melmetal goes down, which you would expect to. Is there a Protect running on that Melmetal, or is it an AV set liquidation? This Bronzong down at 2%, and Body Press going to get rid of the Melmetal. There's now a 1v2. 8% health Bronzong is on. Is it going to be able to do as Abominable Snow switches in, brings in the Snow Warning, but the Hail there is potentially going to take care of the Bruxish if all Aaron needs to do is Protect. And you know the Hail's going to do damage to the Bronzong, but the leftovers is going to completely negate that. So this could be a really, really huge turn if Aaron is going to be able to take this game number 1. Abominable Snow does go for the Mega. Liquidation gets stopped by that Protect, and the Blizzard stopped as well by the Protect. Bruxish going to go down to that Hail. Bronzong down to 2% HP, 8% HP now thanks to the leftovers. Is it going to do it? Is Abominable Snow faster, or is the Bronzong going to be faster here? But the Bronzong is faster. The Body Press going to take it out, and Bronzong with the 1v4. That is why he's our back-to-back champion. Absolute scenes there from RNT Marshall, and takes the lead in this game number 1. And that's going to be a big sucker punch blow at Dogsy Gun this game too. But it isn't. It's it's not over till the Fat Lady sings. He's still in it to win it here. He's got to try and make the comeback now as Aaron leads with the Pikachu again, but now leads with the Bronzong, trying to get that Trick Room off first. Straight off the bat. Of course, Dogsy is going to lose that Electivire, and Bruxish is going to stop that fake out. So Aaron's going to have to go along the other lines with Pikachu. Charm comes out from that Pikachu. That's going to stop that Electivire from getting as much damage off, and Bronzong goes straight for the Iron Defense, and Bruxish going to set up that Trick Room there. So was Dogsy maybe trying to read the Trick Room there and try and reverse it, as Melmetal's going to switch in though. In comes the Follow Me from the Electivire. Another Iron Defense goes up for the Bronzong, and Pikachu just charming this poor Electivire to death. Electivire of course does have that Follow Me, so Dogsy's going to at least be able to keep damage away from that Melmetal, but the more that Bronzong gets those Iron Defenses up, the more those damage those Body Presses are going to be doing. We've seen Melmetal does have that Darkest Lariat, so he's got to try and do as much damage as he can, and try and keep that Electivire alive as long as possible, just so he can keep the damage away from Melmetal. Swampert is going to now switch in. The Protect does come out from the Bronzong though, and there's the Follow Me. Double Iron Bash into the Swamp, trying to get rid of the Pikachu. He does read the Protect there, but the the Swampert does resist Steel type moves, so not going to get as much damage off as you would be hoping. Of course, Swampert, we have already seen, has that Earthquake. Has high horsepower as well, I believe. So that's going to get some good damage away at Melmetal, despite its big, bulky, HP and defensive stats. Yeah, good read, Dogsy. Turn number 4, still off all mans at the Abominable Snow's going to switch in, sets that Halo. In because the Follow Me again from the Electivire, the Body Press. That's going to get some really big damage away at the Electivire. The Earthquake is going to get rid of said Electivire and get some chip damage away at the Abominable Snow. And now it is a 4v3. Aaron with a great start here. That Swampert really proving to be a problem with just one turn left, a Trick Room left. Dogsy's got to try and make as much use of this as he can with the Melmetal. Try and get some damage off onto that Bronzong before it just starts taking over this game. Bronzong, you really expect it to be just the full-on bulky Trick Room support here, but it's taking over with the kills, and it's just allowing whatever's next to it to just clean up the sloppy seconds. Mega Abominable Snow, the Blizzard not going to quite do enough. Maybe aiming for the freeze there. There's the Darkest Lariat. It doesn't quite do enough. Body Press going to get rid of that Abominable Snow. It's now a 4v2. There's the high horsepower at the Melmetal. So Melmetal does manage to bulk out that attack, but it's going to take some damage away from the Hail. And Bronzong going to get that damage back thanks to that leftovers. Now Bruxish switches in. Not exactly the final one you wanted to see here. Facing down that Bronzong. I said we already found the Bronzong is faster than the Melmetal here, so this could be quite a scary situation here for Dogsy. Of course, is an AV set, so no protect on that Melmetal, so it's very, very vulnerable here. Aaron in a very commanding position as we move on to turn number 6. Liquidation just trying to get that damage away. High horsepower, get some really good damage away. The Brooksish, there's the body press, gets rid of the Melmetal. And now Brooksish with it all to do the hail damage. Not quite doing enough to take out Swampert and Bronzong there to give Dogsy maybe a little bit of a fighting chance. But this one looks to be over. And Aaron making a perfect start to Season 4 as he looks to defend his crown once again. Great stuff there from Dogsy, and that game one was so close. Maybe a little bit of a mistake on the Abominable Snow Mega Ring. Liquidation of the books is going to at least take care of the Swampert. Dogsy does get one on the board in this game, but this one is going to be a GG as Pikachu switches in. Ara, ara. Mawile goes for its Mega Fake Out though, and Aaron forgets on the Fake Out. There's the Liquidation of the Mawile. It's not going to matter. Mega Mawile is going to get the job done. Aaron T. Marshall with a 2-0. Making it, as said, a perfect start to life in Season 4 and gets the win over Dogsy once again. So again, GG's to both. That game one was crazy. I was watching it live and I really thought once it went to 1v4, that was going to be it. Dogsy was going to get an also famous, game one win over Aaron. And I forgot it was Aaron with a steel type mon. I just forgot that, easy fact to forget. And he just absolutely took over that thing. So, yeah, GG's to Aaron, GG's to Dogsy. You both played that really, really well. Really entertaining games. And I'm sure Dogsy will be looking for revenge once again in the future. On to our third game of the week then. And it is the Bulu Boys taking on the debuting Krimic Colossals. Dr. Dave with a very weather-based team. 2 types of weather very strong here. It's got the Sunset and Hippopotas. And it has got the Hail Setter in the Vanillux, and I believe the Sandslash Alola as well. And many mons that can take full advantage of both those weathers, of course, Fish and Excadrill. Fish with the Sand Rush, as well as Excadrill. Of course, Excadrill also has the Sand Force. Arctozolt with the Slush Rush, going to be able to take full advantage of that hail being set up. So a lot of things that are quite scary on that side of the Colossals, given their speed. I think the Bulu Boys may look to try and set up the Trick Room here, just try and counteract those said speed buffs, but gotta play it careful. Of course, there's some ones that sort of on that team that work really well, in and out of Trick Room there as well. So Dave has built a very, very exciting team there. I said that the Vish and Excadrill, we've seen Vish in Season 1 and Season 2, just the destructive power of this thing if it's left unchecked. And of course Excadrill the same here, especially in this format. Excadrill is so powerful, especially with that Sand Force ability, and of course does have that Fake Out pressure with the Mega, with the Kangaskhan, which of course can Mega. It is Dr. Dave's only Mega on that side. So gotta keep an eye on that. Of course, with the Parental Bond, you are going to be getting double hits, which can be the difference. If you're able to take something down with Sash, that second hit going to be able to, completely rid that Sash and make it completely pointless. So definitely something to keep an eye on. That Mega Kangaskhan cannot be slept on. Of course, that Hippopotas does bring back horrible Nam flashbacks for me. If any of you here during Season 2, that thing kept fissuring in my face and killing everything, and it made me very, very upset. But yeah, if you were here for that, a rip in the chat, please. That Shedinja as well is very, very scary if left unchecked. Dave may look to leave that thing at home. Of course, ideally you want to be running a Sash on that thing with its massive 1 HP, but could run the safety goggles here and make full use of that Wonder Guard ability. If there's no move, to take care of on the other side, you are in a really bad spot. But there is an Entei and there is a Banette on that side of the Bulu Boys to potentially take care of that Shedinja. So going back to the Raikou as well, that I had last season. Do love the Johto dogs. No Suicune, but I elected to go for the Blastoise instead because it's just a better Suicune, isn't it? The Persian Lola as well, we saw a lot of that in the Season 4 qualifiers, just how strong of a mon this can be. Of course, with his Fair Coat ability, he's going to get that double defense, can run that with either an AV set or just with a sort of bulky special defense set, and this thing will not easily go down. A couple of mons on that side of the Bully Boys that can Mega the Blastoise, the Banette, and of course the Ordino as well. You know, another mon that we saw a lot of in Season 4 qualifiers. You know, that Mega Ordino is one hell of a bulky little cutie, and does not easily go down. Maractus there as well with that Storm Drain pressure. You know, the Bully Boys have had Maractus in the past, so a few mons there that myself I'm quite familiar with. You may all remember the fun times with Mesprit or Me Sprite. So excited to use that this season. But you know, every single season we've had Blastoise be used, and every single season Blastoise is just an absolute tank. So gonna be exciting to see what it can do this season. But without further ado, let's get into this one. It is the Bully Boys versus the Krimic Colossals, and the Bully Boys are going to kick things off with the Blastoise and the Persian Lola. Dr. Dave kicking things off with the Frostmoth and the Togepi, Fish, Vanillix, the Kangaskhan, the Yellow Sandslash in the back, and the Entei, Jirachi, Raikou, and the Mesprit in the back for the Bully Boys. Don't do me like that, Crizzle, come on. So it does look to be that Blastoise is going to be going for its Mega, and there is the Mega. Protects comes out from the Frostmoth. It's going to stop that Fake Out from coming out from the Alolan Persian. Body Slam comes out from the Togepi, not going to get too much damage off that. Shell Smash though coming out from the Mega Blastoise, going to give it the attack, special attack, and speed boost here. So that speed boost potentially going to counteract those, those speed boosts from those abilities. You know, it doesn't seem to be much that's going to take, you know, advantage of that, because the Vish does have that Sand Rush, but could be Scarf. There's the Aura Sphere in the Togepi, which manages to completely tank that. You know, it does resist it, but that is a 2-time special attack and Mega Launcher boosted Aura Sphere, as the Frostmoth does go with the Quiver Dance. Icy Wind out from the Alolan Persian as well, going to slow things down. The Frostmoth back down to neutral speed. Protectors come out from the Frostmoth again. There's the Aura Sphere into the Togepi. Icy Windies here is going to get rid of the Togepi, and that is one on the board for the Bully Boys. And now Dave going to be able to switch in something else here, try and, you know, work next to that Frostmoth. Frostmoth does have access to that Giga Drain, so it could be something he likes to use just to try and take care of that Mega Blastoise. You know, it is set up there, and it could be quite scary. Now in comes the Vanillix with its Snow Warning. You know, Vanillix does have access to that move Freeze Dry, so you know, Bully Boys got to be careful on that one. You know, may look to maybe potentially bring in Jirachi if it's kick around the back, because Jirachi does have that Follow Me, just to try and keep that Mega Blastoise kicking around and alive for a bit longer. But at the moment, the duo of Mega Blastoise and Persian just sitting pretty, sitting comfortable. And the Dracovish switches in for the Frostmoth, and the Aura Sphere is going to take care of that Vision. All of a sudden, there's a 2v4. Fates comes out from the Alolan Persian. Icy Wind on the side of Vanillix as well, just trying to slow that Blastoise down from just doing as much damage. As now in comes the Frostmoth again. And the Blastoise just really taking over here. You know, that the Blastoise really going to try and take care of that Vanillix. Then, of course, as he said, does have that Freeze Drive, but is it a double in? There's a Fake Tease again, trying to get rid of that Frostmoth. The Freeze Drive is going to get rid of the Blastoise, and that could be a little bit of a misplay there. How huge could that be, depending on what is in the back here? As now Entei switches in, and that's not going to be what Dr. Dave is going to want to have seen here with his 4 times weak Frostmoth and the Vanillix. And the Alolan Persian here, I think, can sit pretty comfortably and help out this Entei with those Fake Tears. So some good information there for Dr. Dave at the very least. Flamethrower is going to get rid of that Frostmoth though, and there is the Icy Wind from the Alolan Persian, just trying to slow down Vanillix a little bit more. Icy Wind comes the other way as well. Is going to proc that Citrus Berry on the Alolan Persian, so again a little bit more information there on the side of Dr. Dave. Just trying to slow things down, but the speed drop on Dave's side is going to mean that Vanillix is going to be slower either way. And this one looks to be a strong start for the Bully Boys, and Entei gets the killing blow, and that is 1-0 in this game, number 1. So maybe not the start Dr. Dave will be wanting to make. That switch in for the Frostmoth could have ended up proving to be quite costly after that Quiver Dance, but this time chooses to start with the Kangaskhan and the Vanillix, and the Blastoise does stick around, but this time there's Jirachi sat next to it. Of course, we saw Jirachi last season be used by Jabba and Oma. It's one of the mythicals with all 100 base stats, so these things do not go down very easily, and have a whole host of status moves to work with. You know, as I said, we already said has Follow Me, does get access to Trick Room and Screens. But which one is the Kangaskhan going to fake out here? It's going to be a difficult one for Dr. Dave to choose from as the Mega Blastoise goes out. The fake out goes into the Jirachi then. That's going to get a double hit there. The Freeze Dry comes out. It doesn't quite do enough to the Mega Blastoise, but the Aura Sphere in return is going to get rid of the Vanilluxe, and that is a strong start there from the Bulu boys. And down goes the Vanilluxe then, so that's one less Freeze Dry mon to be wary of. As now in comes the Alolan Sandslash then. So, Alolan Sandslash, not something we've seen drafted before, and I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this one, but it is a strong physical attacker. It's going to make full use of that hill being up. But definitely can't be ignoring that Kangaskhan. We saw how strong that could be. We saw Dogsy using it last season. There's the Icicle Spears. Follow Me comes out from that Jirachi. Again, keeping that damage away from the Mega Blastoise. And there's the Power Up Punch from the Kangaskhan. So thank that Parental Bond. It's going to get a 2x attack buff for that, which could be really equivocal in this late game. As Aura Sphere comes out again from the Blaster. It's just Aura Sphereing everything as the Alolan Sandslash goes down, as well as a 2v4 as Vish now switching in. Try and get some damage. Again, we saw how strong this mon can be in a couple of, the Season 1 and Season 2. Follow Me again from the Jirachi. Drain Punch takes it down to 11%, so it's going to hang on. It takes the double hit as well. Vicious Ren into that Jirachi. Jirachi goes down. There's a Dragon Pulse from the Blastoise. Vish goes down, and now it's all up to Kangaskhan in a 1v3. Now, we've seen a 1v3/1v4 already tonight, so are we about to see another one? Kangaskhan with that 2x attack could be quite scary here. A Protect is going to come around that Kangaskhan just to stop that fake out. You would expect an Aura Sphere here. It's going to get some good damage off that. Smart players there from Dave, just trying to allow that hail to do a little bit more chip damage away to the Mega Blastoise. But he cannot leave it unchecked. You potentially could go for the Power Up Punch here on the Alolan Persian. Icy Wind doesn't quite slow it down enough. That Drain Punch is going to take care of the Mega Blastoise, and it gets some HP back for its troubles as well. There's now a 1v2 as Entei switches in with that balloon. It's going to try and go all out with damage here. Icy Wind coming out in just to ensure that Kanga is slow. I think it would already been slower anyway thanks to that one Icy Wind, but the Flamethrower not quite doing enough. Those Drain Punches though, it's going to get some of that HP back and does pop the balloon. Not that it really matters too much. That's a really important 10 there for Dave. Could the Kangaskhan be about to do if it can take care of the Entei, and all it's got to do is just stop the Alolan Persian. Fake Tears comes out though, and this could be it. Flamethrower is going to get rid of the Kangaskhan, and that is a 2-0 for the Bulu boys. And yeah, that was a really fun match. I'm not going to lie, I was not quite sure what to expect from Dr. Dave. I knew something with Freeze Dry was coming, but I was really terrified of that Excadrill. There was not a lot of what I wanted to do was going to help stop that Excadrill. So when it wasn't in the team preview, I was very, very relieved. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, GG's to Dr. Dave. That was a really, really fun match. I'll knock my webcam out of whack. Just move that back. Right, that guys. Yeah, GG's to Dr. Dave. Really, really fun games, and I'm really excited to see what that team can do as the season goes on. It's a really, really fun team. It's a very much draft league team. Expect a lot of mons that synergize with each other, but a whole lot of weaknesses. So Dave, got to be careful of that. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see the remainder of the season. And yeah, really, really fun stuff. As we move on to game number 4, then it is the Swindon Rookies taking on the Long Island Goombies. As we said in the before the show got going, Silly had one hell of a strong season last season, his strongest season to date. His second time making the playoffs, of course didn't make it in season 2, but made it all the way to losers final, finishing in 3rd place eventually, and has put together a very, very strong team. We see the return of Venusaur to the British Pokemon League. Of course, that Venusaur can Mega, as well as the likes of Sableye and Manectric as well, so it's got some Mega options on that team. And of course, the Mega Venusaur getting access to that thick, fat ability, so no chlorophyll on it, but if it Megas, but can definitely be putting things to sleep before it Megas, just to be one hell of a menace. So Draco gonna have to be very careful of that, and can't really comfortably go for Trick Room because you're just gonna allow that Torkoal to do exactly what it wants, which is Eruption all over your face. And there's not a lot of mons on Draco's side that are going to enjoy taking fire attacks. I'm not going to lie. So definitely got to be careful with that one. And we've seen in previous seasons just how much of a menace that Sableye can be. That's also another option for Silly to Mega. I always forget Sableye can Mega. Does get that Magic Guard ability when it Megas, but I would expect that he'll be keeping the Mega at home on that one. Just the pranks, the quashes, and rain dances and whatever on that Sableye can be so useful and powerful. You know, especially, you know, Draco's going to want to play around with the weather in that with that Meowstic. You know, try and keep his Sizar alive, try and set up with his Kingdra, and get that Swift Swim going. You know, he's not going to want the Kingdra to be sitting in the sun. Don't want it to get sunburnt for sure. But yeah, a lot of offensive power on Silly's side, and a lot of good support because that Electabuzz does have that Follow Me. You know, the Politoed, such a strong support mon, you know, gets access to Perish Song, so if he wanted to go down the Perish Trap route, he certainly could do that. Gumshoes and Minion, of course, there's always one or two on Silly's teams. These mons that you have no idea what to do. Nobody ever picks them, but Silly manages to get the absolute best out of these mons. So I'm expecting some absolutely craziness from these two mons during the season. So keep an eye out for that. Over on Draco's side, who said about that, Scizor, of course, has access to that Mega with that mon. And this thing is one hell of an attacking powerhouse. So Silly going to be keeping that in mind, of course, with the only one weakness. It is a 4x weakness to fire, but if Draco can keep the rain up and you know, stop those weather resets, then he's going to be in a pretty good spot with that Scizor if he chooses to bring it. This could turn out to be a sort of all-out weather war. Does have quite a bit of supportive pressure power there, you know, the Meowstic, Togetic, Riolu, Torracat, Lanoon, you know, Lanoon and Togetic with those Follow Me's, Torracat with that Fake Out pressure, Riolu as well with the Follow Me, but also can go for weather resets, and does have access to the Lightning Rod as well with the Marowak. So pretty support heavy team there, but you know, Darkrai, Kingdra, Scizor, nothing to be sniffed at, as well as the Shaman. You know, it may look like a cute little hedgehog, but again, one of the mythicals with the 100 base stats across the board, it can still hit pretty hard. And of course, Golisopod as well, that really high physical attack stat. You know, you stick a Trace Band on with first impression, it's going to get some really big hits in. But without further ado, let's get into this one. It's the Swindon Rookadies taking on the Long Island Goombies. And Draco going to start things off with the Darkrai and the Meowstic then, and Silly with the Minion and Electabuzz then. He's got the Thundurus, Therian, Torkoal, Sableye and Venusaur in the back as well, and Electabuzz you see on the screen. Draco with the Kingdra, the Togetic, Shaman, and of course the Marowak in the back there as well. So you would expect, you know, there's going to be rain dances kicking around on that Meowstic to try and get that Kingdra set up, but no Mega Scizor then, which I can totally understand. You know, the Venusaur does have access to Weather Ball, and of course Torkoal as well. Those eruptions or even heat waves are going to be really scary. Of course Sableye with the Quash, you're going to just be able to allow that Torkoal and just set up how you want it to. At the very least, you know, he knows that the Sableye can't do anything that Darkrai while it's alive, so I think it's going to be the best interest for Draco to keep it alive for as long as possible. You could see try and put a few things to sleep here. You know, we know the Meowstic gets gravity just to improve the accuracy of moves. Could definitely see something like that on the side of Draco. You know, while things are asleep, you can definitely control the game. But gotta remember that Electabuzz, it can be such a problem. Shaman switches in for the Darkrai there. In comes the Follow Me. There's the gravity, and the Minion goes for the Shell Smash. Then the Wayhead's going to return those negative stats back to normal. So that is it now. 2x attack, 2x special attack, and 2x speed Minion. I have absolutely no idea what this thing's going to do, and I'm very excited to see what happens from here on out. So yeah, Shaman switching in. I'm not too sure what it's best, you know, to do here. You know, again, I don't know a lot about Shaman, but you know, Electabuzz having that Follow Me pressure is potentially going to allow Minion to just take over here. So Draco definitely can't ignore that thing. It might be a DTM one, but it, you know, it's got that Shell Smash up, and it's going to be very scary. Helping Hand's going to come out from the Meowstic's knocking them out because there's the Acrobatics from the Minion. Acrobatics obviously going to get that boost thanks to that the item being used. And there's the Thunder Wave onto the Meowstic, so it's going to be paralyzed as now in comes the Marowak then. So Marowak, the final one on Draco's side, trying to get a bit of damage off now. Get rid of that Electabuzz. Yeah, Minion is straight up getting banned next season. Along with Kamala. There's the Follow Me again for the Electabuzz. Acrobatics gets some really good damage on Marowak. There's a Bone Rang. It's going to get rid of the Electabuzz with a critical hit to boot. The Meowstic paralyzed though, so that's a really big turn there. Meowstic not being able to move. Now in comes the Sableye then. You know, Sableye does get access to Fake Out, so Draco got to be careful of that kicking around. can always go for the quashes as well, just to allow him. But there's a protect from the Marowak, so stops the fake out there. Mignon though goes for the Meowstic, and that's such good damage. The Meowstic stays paralyzed again. That's 2 turns in a row it's been paralyzed. Draco just not getting the look of the green in this one, and Mignon just being able to absolutely just wreck house at the minute. I told you, man, Silly manages to find these mons and just gets the absolute best out of it. It's just absolutely full credit to the guy. He just knows what he's doing. These mean mons. There's the quash on the Meowstic. Acrobatic's going to get rid of the Marowak, and Meowstic paralyzed again. The quash not mattering, and now it's all up to Meowstic and Darkrai then in the 3v2. So Darkrai really got to start getting some damage off, and quickly. Of course, those quashes not going to work on the Darkrai, so Draco does at least have that going for him. He's got to hope that Meowstic doesn't stay powered for another time. There's the helping hand, so no power this time. Sunny Day comes out. There's the acrobatics on the Darkrai. It does so much damage to Apples. Not quite getting enough done. And Mignon and Shields Down does activate. And man, Mignon with the speed buff, it did so much acrobatics. There's the quash on the Meowstic. Rock Slide comes out, and that's going to take care of Meowstic and Darkrai in the same turn. And Silly takes the lead in this one. Mignon, everybody, welcome to the league. Coming out swinging, and Meowstic this time leading the line with the Kingdra and the Venusaur and Sableye now. So Sableye, of course, does have access to the weathers as well as Meowstic, so we could see the weather war here that we were predicting in the pregame. Plus Venusaur, he may look to sort of wait on its Mega before, you know, get things put to sleep while he can make use of Chlorophyll if he can get the sun up. And then go for that Mega and start getting that damage off. Its Mega is so powerful. Yeah, those powers on Meowstic were so huge. Of course, Silly got to be careful here. If the Meowstic does happen to be slow and he's able to get the rain up a Hurricane, it's going to get some real big damage on that Venusaur. So all about working out the speeds. There's the Rain Dance. There's the Sunny Day. Just resets it. Sleep Powder is going to get that Kingdra asleep. That's a huge turn 1 for Silly. Does land the Sleep Powder as well, which is all important. You know, that's the most important element of running the Venusaur. You know, you've got to hit your Sleep Powders. Meowstic then has proved to be fast in that Sableye, so Silly can just keep, you know, happily resetting the weather back to the sun and just, you know, sitting where he wants it to and stop that. Even that Kingdra gets the one-time wake up. He's not going to be able to get as much damage off. The Marowak though is going to switch in. Sableye switches out, in comes the Electabuzz, and the Venusaur does cover the Mega. The Energy Ball is going to get rid of that Marowak. That might have not been the right switch in there. Psychic from the Meowstic does get some really good damage off away to the Venusaur though, as now in comes the Shame in there, but got to be careful here, as we mentioned earlier on, that Weather Ball potentially running on that Venusaur. Could make full use of the sun here, but Sableye has switched out, so Draco may look to get the rain up just to stop that from doing as much damage to the Shaman. But a Sludge Bomb here from the Venusaur as well is going to do more or less the same, so definitely got to be careful here. You may look to go for a Protect on the Shaman just to keep it kicking around. It's a difficult position for Draco to be in. There's the Follow Me from the Electabuzz. Rain Dance does go, but there's a Sludge Bomb. The Shaman managed to come to live that though. And there's the Air Power of the Electabuzz, not quite doing a whole lot, but does get some good damage off to it, doing about half damage. I really thought the Sludge Bomb there would completely wipe out the Shaman, but Shaman just sort of, well, it doesn't laugh at it, but it tanks it pretty damn well. Draco's really got to start taking care of things now and get rid of this Venusaur as quickly as he can. Got to take care of the Electabuzz first though. There's the Follow Me from the Electabuzz though. Sludge Bomb into that Kingdra, gets some really good damage. There's the Psychic. Knew the Follow Me was coming there. He's got to try and go for the Venusaur. Now he's got to hope that this Kingdra wakes up pronto just to make use of this rain. Another Sludge Bomb is going to do the trick here onto that Kingdra, and that's the main damage that the Venusaur dealt with. Weakness Pulse is Shaman, yeah man, imagine. Scenes. How are we going to get the wake up from the Kingdra? Venusaur, though, again, what a mon that thing is. Follow me goes out from the Electabuzz. The Kingdra does indeed wake up. There's a Hurricane. Electabuzz going to resist that and does get confused. Forest Troubles. Energy Ball going to get rid of that Kingdra, so that's a really big time there. Psychic is going to finally get rid of that Vonmemon, but it is now a 3v2. And it's Shaman and the Meowstic versus the world. And this is not a good position for Draco to be in. So in comes his Sableye then. Sableye going to be able to just fake out or quash the Shaman here. And then Draco's in a world of trouble because the Meowstic does have Psychic. So can at least take care of the Venusaur in this position. There is the fake out onto the Meowstic. That's a really huge time there. Sludge Bomb onto the Shaman. Gets rid of it as now a 1v3. Meowstic with it all to do then. And Silly has just played this one so smartly. You know, that game one was just absolutely phenomenal with the Minyor. You know, definitely people are going to be keeping an eye on that thing now. There's the quash on the Meowstic. Sludge Bomb. Going to get some decent damage off. Psychic, though, is going to take care of the Venusaur. So it's now a 2v1. Draco not going out of the fight, but there it is to haunt his dreams. The Minyor. Quash comes out again. There is the Acrobatics, not quite getting as much done. Psychic, though, not going to do a whole lot to that Minyor. And City going to be just able to slowly chip away at that Meowstic. There's the Quash again. Acrobatics comes out again. Meowstic slowly but surely going down. Silly is going to take this one 2-0. Really strong start there from our third place team. Is he going to be able to end the curse of the third place team? Then we will certainly see. Of course, every team that has finished third in the last few seasons in playoffs has ended up not making playoffs or just straight up, as we saw with Oma last season, getting relegated then. So Silly doing his best to set to break that curse, but GG's to both players. Yeah, it's always the week one memes of Silly, and I absolutely love to see it. A really fun match to sort of watch through. And you know, the weather war was always going to be really exciting as well, but that was a really strong turn one in that game too from Silly, getting that sleep powder off, and you know, that really, you know, did a lot of towards deciding the game. Didn't think he might go for a shell smash towards the end there, but you know, really just teased us with that one. But it's going to be exciting to see what that team can do going on in the season. I'm sure Draco will be looking to bounce back after not making the start he perhaps wanted. But yeah, GG's to both guys. Let's move on to our next game then. And it is the Miami Heat taking on the Tendo Melmetals. Of course, the Melmetals debuting this season in the British Pokemon League, fighting their way through the qualifiers. And Latvian making his grand return after taking a break last season. Has very much got a very similar team to his qualifiers team. And we saw the destructive power of said qualifiers team. You know, the Urshifu, Articuno, Galar, Primarina, Duraludon, all in that team. And has got back a few old favourites as well. Has got the Fungus again, the Lipard, and this time has went for the Gengar as well. So the Gengar going to be able to, you know, make use of its Mega. You know, we saw Silver running that Gengar last season, and it didn't really get the most out of it. You know, that you would be hoping, but you know, that's not. This is a whole different beast. This is Latvian. It is very strong. That Gengar, really strong special attack. So definitely something Kirky's got to keep an eye out of. And Typhlosion as well, those eruptions, another one with a high special attack. Going to be just looking to go all out with damage. And of course can get that trick come up with the Articuno Galar, all the tailwind. That's the beauty of the Articuno Galar. Has the 2 speed settings. So really good stuff there in the team building process for Latvian. Over on the side of Kirky, I know he was disappointed. He didn't quite get the team or the mon he wanted in Melmetal, but I think all the same has built a very strong team. You know, every team so far that's had Whimsicott in it has done really well. So, you know, we saw Crizzle making full use of Whimsicott as a sweeper even at times last season. So those energy balls from Whimsicott can pack a punch as well as the Moonblast. So definitely something to keep an eye out, as well as that Lucario, which can of course go for its Mega, just like Latios as well in that lineup. You know, we saw how big of a threat that Lucario is with the sword stance. So, you know, Latvian really got to be careful with that, with the adaptability ability as well. Going to be something in the back of his mind that he's got to take care of. Arcanine as well. You know, Arcanine seems to be in the league every season, but never seems to sort of do anything. But going to be interested to see if Kirky can get the best out of that thing with those Intimidates. Can also go for Justify potentially as well with the beat-ups on that Whimsicott. You know, a few different synergy options there. It's very nice to see Electros back in the league. I had a lot of fun when I used that mon last season. You know, no weaknesses on that thing. It's so much fun. And good to see Barbacle back in the league as well. You know, we saw that in season 2. So interesting to see, someone make use of that. And of course, Ferrothorn's little baby brother as well. As we saw yesterday, Kecleon. You know, I kind of laughed at this thing in a tier list. You know, I know it obviously gets the protein ability, it gives it sort of stab type moves for all of his moves. And I really didn't reckon much to it, but then Joe managed to get the absolute most out of this thing in the championship division. So, you know, definitely not something to look over when you're prepping for Kirky's team. He's built a very, very strong lineup there. So going to be good to see if he can get that debut win or whether your Latvian is going to be back with a bang. And let's kick this one off. We go straight into the action as Typhlosion comes out with that eruption. Does not quite get as much damage off onto those mons, and just the Curse Body's going to stop Typhlosion from going those eruptions. Jellicent getting the water spout off. Typhlosion somehow living that water spout there. Jellicent, damage from the eruption I think really contributing to that, but still getting some really big damage off. And Latvian with that Lipard alongside the Typhlosion as well, and Kirky's got the Latios out. Does have the Lucario, the Whimsicott, the Vivillon and the Ambipom in the back. Latvian with the Gengar, the Primarina, Thundurus and Glad. There's the Water Spot again, not going to be doing that much thanks to that low damage. There's the Snarls from the Lipard, just really working on the special attack. Latios goes for its Mega, is going to get rid of that Lipard and is out 1-1 advantage to Kirky then. So really strong start there. And just absolutely all or nothing start as well. Eruptions, water spouts coming out, AoE damage all over the place. This is what we like to see. Latvian back with a bang. He really wanted to get that win over Kirky after the qualifiers loss. And now in comes the Foongus then. Foongus, of course, the baby brother of Amoongus, not to be laughed at. Those rage powders can be a problem if you don't have something to take care of it. Jellicent's special attack really taken care of now. And down to low HP, so it has been water spouting a lot, so I'm wondering if there's a choice item on that Jellicent or not. Latvian, you would think it's going to look to go for the Mega on that Gengar to take care of the Latios. Strong start here from both players. Turn number 3. Both guys figuring each other out. I said this is week 1. It's always the scariest of weeks. I think the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, because nobody quite knows what each other's team does. Trying to figure each other out. The Gengar does go for its Mega Protect, comes out from the Latios, sees the Shadow Ball coming. Grundree's there from Kirky, and there's the Pollen Puff. It's going to get the Gengar back up to full HP, so smart stuff there from Latvian. Running that support Foongus. And Pollen Puff not only going to get some damage off, but does have the ability to heal your mons. Smartly twisted there. Kirky, you think, may look to go for the Tailwind here, just to allow the Latios to be able to move first, and just sit there and support it. Allow it to get the damage up. That special attack drops from that Lipard could prove to be very costly. He's already burned through a protective course on that Latios, so he may look to switch it out or potentially sack it off depending on what's in the back, because he has already switched out the Mega Lucario. So good reads by Kirky in that turn 1, which we just to say missed that part of the turn 1. You wouldn't have seen Lucario switched out and switched in Latios. There's the Dragon Pulse not doing much in that Foongus, and Icy Wind's going to get rid of Latios. Does some really big damage to Whimsicott and slowing it down. There's that Tailwind, and there's the Pollen Puff as well, getting some even more chip damage away to Whimsicott, but does have that Aguar Berry to get some of that damage back, so it's now 3 apiece. And that Gengar is looking awfully scary, and in comes the Jellicent then. Gengar is a little bit frail. We found that last season with Silver using it, one Sucker Punch or one Ghost move did seem to be taking care of it, but if you're able to use it wisely and let it get hits at first, it's such high special attack that it's going to get some really big damage away. But is it a choice item on the Jellicent? It did look to be with it water spouting, so I'm wondering if it wasn't. That switching is going to help it at the very least. Could go for, if it is running a Shadow Ball or something, try and get rid of that Gengar, but gotta watch out. That Foongus running the Rage Powders is going to be able to really comfortably control things here, and Gengar's in a great position with that Jellicent and Whimsicott. It's got the Icy Wind. I did not know that Gengar got the Icy Wind. Rage Powder does come out. There's a Taunt from the Whimsicott, so that could be really huge. Shadow Ball not going to quite do enough. And there's a Shadow Ball back, gets rid of the Jellicent, and all of a sudden it is now Latvian with them on advantage. Fungus, of course, cannot go for those Rage Powders now, as Lee says. Now in comes the Mega Lucario, is it? Sorry, not Mega Lucario, in comes the Lucario. Try and get the job done now. Gengar really controlling things in this game now. It's really putting the work for Latvian thus far. But a really back and forth game, you know, both players have been playing this really smart. You know, Keki with some really smart switch-ins and protect reads, and Latvian's been able to just sort of control things with those those stat drop moves, and you know, keeping that Gengar nice and healthy with the pollen pumps on the Fungus. So Fungus doing what it does best, Rage Powdering and keeping whatever's next to it alive. Two more times a Tailwind up for Keki. He's got to make full use of it and try and get rid of this Mega Gengar as quickly as he can. You know, it's scary. In the back of that Typhlosion is going to be able to get some really big damage off of that Lucario. So Keki going to have that in the back of his mind. He's not going to want to go down in game one, you know, and not start off things as the way he wants. You know, got an uphill battle once, if that happens. Encore does come out, so that's good stuff there. There's a Sword Stance on the Lucario. Shadow Ball comes out, it does some really big damage to Lucario. There is the Pollen Puff onto the Gengar, which Gengar at full health, so Pollen Puff not really gonna get the job done there. One more time to Tailwind Lucario with that Sword Stance now could be a scary position for that Gengar if it's not able to tank a hit here from the Lucario. Plus Fungus still taunted, so can go for the Rage Powders. There is the Bullet Punch, not going to get enough done there. Gengar, there's the Dazzling Gleam. Gengar, of course, going to resist that. And there's the Shadow Ball into Whimsicott, gets rid of that, and now is all up to Lucario. Foul play from the Fungus, going to get rid of it. And Latvian takes this game number one. Really smart stuff there, and move choices from on the Fungus. And a really strong start there from our Season 1 champion, Latvian 71, and we move straight into game number 2 again. One man already down with the Fungus. We unfortunately missed that start of that turn 1. Trick Room is up from the Galacuna though. Jellicent and Latios, so Keki bringing the Latios again as out in comes the Lipad. You know, Latvian can now just, you know, either reverse that Trick Room or sit and start playing with the stat drops and, you know, stop the Jellicent from doing what it wants to do. So a bit of a stronger start this time around for Keki. He's got rid of that Fungus, more importantly. Slash does come out from the Galacuna, not going to let it done. There's a Dragon Pulse into the Articuno, and Snarl going to get super effective damage on both Latios and Jellicent, but this Snarl is going to get disabled thanks to that Cursed Body on the Jellicent, but that special attack drops could prove to be really huge. On the side of Keki again, Latvian just playing smart with the stat drops, keeping his Muns alive, but the Articuno's on pretty low HP now. Trying to get a foothold in this game. Trying to the fake tease, comes out from the Lipad. Ice Slash going to get rid of the Latios. There's the Water Spout. Doesn't quite take care of Articuno. That low health HP just really, and the special attack drop really not aiding the Water Spout damage. As now in comes the Lucario then. So Lat going to have to be careful. Doesn't let that Lucario get up the Sword Stances. With that fake tease, it can be just so brutal. The prankster fake tease. Whimsicott going to switch in though. Is it going to switch right into an Air Slash from Articuno though? It is, and Whimsicott goes down. Maybe not the right switch in there. Water Spout is going to get rid of Articuno's. It does make it a 2v2. But you would expect the Mega Gengar to be running in the back, but it's not. It's the Primarina, so Latvian leaving the Gengar at home, and Primarina now switches in. Again, we saw Primarina running in the qualifiers for Latvian, and it proved to be such a beast. You know, that high special attack and liquid voice ability, turning those normal type attacks into water type attacks. You know, it's such a strong mon. And Lipad can just play around with the fake tears and just really put a stop to the Lucario. Lucario does go for the protect, stops that fake tears coming out. There's the hyper voice. It doesn't quite take out the Jellicent. It does proc the Throat Spray on the Primarine though. Those Water Spots really just not doing anything. So I think that is again a choice item on the Jellicent, just allowing it to just keep hitting those Water Spouts. I would imagine it's a choice spec just to get as much damage done as possible. with the buff special attack is a very, very terrifying prospect. This thing has such high special attack as it is. You really don't want to let this thing get set up. And Lipad can just comfortably fake chase here, and just Primarina can just do what it needs to do. Lucario does Mega. Unfortunately, that is a misplay from Kirky. Only supposed to Mega the one with the one Mega. Moonblast going to take care of that Lucario, so it doesn't really matter anyway. And now Jellison's got it all to do in a 1v2. Latvian going to look to take this one and start off things back in the British Pokemon League the way he left things, on a positive note. And that is exactly what you expect to see from a Season 1 champion. A strong 2-0 win over the debuting Kirky. Yeah, the water spout damage is not going to be doing enough. Snarl is going to get rid of Jellison, and Latvian takes this one 2-0. Great stuff there from both guys. Just explain that at the end, we do have a ruling where you are only allowed the one Megastone per match. Fortunately, Kirky was not aware of this ruling, but as I said, it didn't end up mattering in the end, so it's all good. We homie stock those, as I would say. But again, GG's to both guys. Really nice to see, nice to see Latvian back, and really great to see him, kicking things off the win. He's built a strong and scary team. Some months he's really familiar with. That Lipad is a terrifying prospect. Those stat drops can be really, really scary on that thing. And of course has the Snarl, has the Thunder Wave, and gets Fake Out as well. It just does everything. It's one of the best Prankstermons in the game. So yeah, but really nice stuff there from Latvian. Commiserations there to Kirky. I'm sure, again, like all the people who lost this week, they're going to be back with a bang next week. Going to want to try and, undo that week 1 defeat and get themselves back on level pegging. But onto our final game of the week then. It is a banger as well. Is the South Croydon Souls taking on Space City PC, of course, our losers round 3 match from Season 3 Plus. And this is a bit of a grudge match, of course. Said that one ended in a little bit of controversy. The one-turn wake up from the rigged match. That Pheromosa getting the one-turn wake up, proving to be the difference. So again, just like Iron vs Dogsy, this is brand new season, brand new teams, and these two with incredibly strong teams. Meme has, of course, got the Charizard. Once again, that Mega Charizard is such a scary prospect, especially into the likes of that Tapu Bulu, the Aegislash, and the Glalie. Just most of the ones on that team. The Mega Charizard is a very scary prospect. It's gone with the Tapu Fini as well, just get that misty terrain up. We saw Tapu Fini last season, how much of a menace that thing could be. Of course, so can also go with the Soaks as well, and play around with that. And of course has the Latias as well, so it does have the 2 mega options on that team if you wanted to change things up. Has of course brought back the Mienshao. What is Meme if he does not have the Mienshao and Charizard? It's really that again, you really got the most out of that Mienshao last season. It is such a strong Pokemon and strong Fake Out mon. Has that Fake Out pressure on the Raichu there as well as Lightning Rod on that Raichu. So really limiting the options on that Charizard, that can do damage on that Charizard. Inteleon, Thievul, Articuno, BHM, and Spiritomb there as well. Spiritomb, of course, he did pick up for Season 3 Plus. Can be a strong mon, Spiritomb, it's a really bulky little Pokemon. Yeah, I'd be excited to see Meme use it a little bit more. We were expecting to see a little bit more in Plus. But picked it up once again. Of course, has got the Vileplume as well there, so Chris is going to want to be careful if he's leading that Tapu Bulu. We know what happens when Tapu Bulu faces down a Poison type mon. It does not end well. On Chris's side, though, he has got one hell of a bulky team. This team, I said in my Season 3, in the preview, that this thing is the strongest team in the league, in my opinion. The Moltres Galar, we saw in Season 2 how much Aaron got out of this. Okay, it's not a Dynamax format, but all the same, it is a very strong Pokemon. Cresselia in a non-Dynamax format as well. It's so incredibly bulky. You've really got to have a strong one to be able to just take this thing out, or it's going to start setting up on your ass and things get very, very scary. As always, Comfey has been drafted. This thing has been drafted every single season of the British Pokemon League, and I expect no less. This thing's going to pair really well with the Goodra and the Moltres Galar. Not only is it going to be able to keep those mons alive, but of course, with its triage ability, it's going to be able to go for those Draining Kisses and proc weakness policies on that Moltres Galar or Goodra. And yeah, again, with the Floral Healing, it can be just so useful at keeping things alive. So keep an eye out for that confirm. Milotic as well, I think Milotic is definitely very much going to be an anti-stat drop / intimidate mon. But do not look over it. It's a strong one, you set up those coils and this thing's going to start getting some damage away. Angel Slash and Hitmonlee return to the league, and we see Flareon, Glalie and Muck as well. So mega option in that Glalie there for Chris. But I think the focus is very much going to be on the likes of the Bulu, the Goodra, and the Moltres Galar for sweeper options in that team. But again, two really, really strong teams here. Meme going to be looking for that revenge after the debacle, as we would call it, in Season 3 Plus. Let's get into this one. It is a replay game, so I will do my best to keep up with it. But let's get into this one. And it is Chris and Meme kicking this off with the Vileplume and the Raichu. Crizzle with the Hitmonlee and the Tapu Bulu sets that Grassy's edge. And Hitmonlee with that Grassy seems well going to get the defensive fake out. Comes out into the Vileplume, going to stop that Bulu from going down early. But the Nuzzle comes out to paralyze that Bulu. Leslie High Horsepower is going to take the Raichu down to its sash. Raichu get a little bit of HP back thanks to that grassy terrain. There's the Poison Jab gonna get rid of the Raichu, and the Sludge Bomb gonna get rid of the Bulu. It's like Season 2 all over again. Bulu goes down to a Sludge Bomb, and there we go. As the terrain is gonna get reset by the Tappy Finny. Brings out the Misty Terrain. Poison Jab on the Hitmonlee gets some really big damage off, and Finny going for the Calm Mind. So it is Calm Mind Finny. There's the Thunderbolt on the Goodra. Gonna proc that Cirrus Berry on the Finny and Sludge Bomb on the Vileplume, just running things so far with that Sludge Bomb, getting some big damage away. Moonblast though going to get rid of the Hitmonlee, and all of a sudden it's a 4v2. This is not the start that Crizzle wanted to make. He does at least get one mon down in the form of that finish. It's a 2v2. This is an absolutely intense game one as Megazard comes out, gets up the Sun. Sludge Bomb doing some big damage to the Comfort, and the Heat Wave going to get rid of the Comfort. All of a sudden it's a 1v2. There's a Thunderbolt onto the Charizard and gets the Paralysis as well. Absolutely chaotic game. Vileplume just slowly chipping away with those Sludge Bombs. Dragon Pulse does get the crit, and there's the Air Slash from the Charizard. This looks like a really difficult position for Chris to bring this one back. That Goodra's on such low HP. There's the Weather Ball from the Goodra, and Vileplume does now go down, and Flame for the Goodra just to a high goal of 6% HP, and Thunderbolt's going to get rid of it, and 1-0 does Crizzle go up. What a hell of a game, number one. Unbelievable scenes there from that Goodra, somehow living that flame. I know it resists the fire attack, but still in the sun from a Mega Charizard. There's the Whirlwind from the Articuno's gonna get rid of that Comfort, and now sorry, not the Comfort, the Cresselia, as that Comfort gets paralysis. There's a Freeze Dry from the Articuno. Rockside though comes out, has some big damage to the Articuno Galar, and the Trick Room is going to go up for the Comfort. So Comfort, she's going to like that with the paralysis. Tech comes out from the Articuno, and Floral Healing. There is Comfort doing what it does best, and Rockslide really getting those big damages in, and gets the all-important flinch on that Raichu as well. That could be huge. And there's the Draining Kiss. Rockside going to get rid of both Raichu and the Articuno. And Tapu Bulu just running things. This game is now. In comes the Tapu Fini and the Charizard. Misty Surge going to reset that terrain. Zard going straight for its Mega. Bulu's in a little bit of trouble here, as there's the Rockslide going to get rid of the Charizard though. And this is a totally different game, as it's a 1v4. Fini with it all to do now. Draining Kiss going to take a little bit of damage off, but there's the Horn Leash and the Bulu. And Bulu just absolutely wrecked house in this game. Moonblast after that command, going to get some big damage off, but another Horn Leech ought to do it. There's the Floral Healing. Scald trying to get that burn in vain on the Bulu. Horn Leech going to get the job done, and Crizzle once again gets the W over Meme. But let's talk about that game number one, guys. That was absolutely insane. Like, you look at that and you think, nah, this is game one done. Meme's got this one. It's all but over. But Chris hadn't revealed Weather Ball, takes full advantage of that sun going up and gets rid of the Vileplume. Somehow lives the fire attack from Charizard. No idea. Oh yeah, of course, sorry, Misty Terrain. Yeah, sorry, me. I always forget terrain. I just see screen and just don't read the writing. That's just typical Matthew stuff. But yeah, what a game one that was. Both players just going absolutely all out. You'd expect no less from our second and third place team from last season's regular season. And yeah, so Meme not starting out with the win as he would have hoped, and now he started out last season. But, you know, there was always going to be a loser in that match, and you'd hate to see either team lose week one. But Meme will bounce back, I'm sure. You know, fourth place team from last season. And Crizzle, again, definitely up there, the strongest team in the league. Not a pile of pressure on him, but, you know, I'm expecting big things from that team. and I'm excited to go up against it at the end of the season. So, anyway, guys, let's take a look at what that does to the league table then after our matches. So, Bulu Boys sitting at the top of the British Pokemon League Premier Division with Miami Heat in second place. What does that remind you of, boys and girls? That looks very familiar to a Season 1 leaderboard, right? Very nice to see myself and Latvian back up the top. Of course, it is only on alphabetical order. A lot of those teams on the +2 game difference, with only the 1, 2, and 1 match in all of the games this week. Bulu Boys, Miami Heat, Long Island Goombies, Surfers, and South Croydon Saws, all of the 2-0 wins. Welsh Warriors with the 2-1 win over Thundurus means they sit in the top half of the table in 6th place. Meanwhile, Newcastle Thundurus in 7th place on the -1 record. Tendor Melmetals, Crimmick Colossals, Shadow Kings, Winter Rookies, and Space City all with the 2-0 losses. But it is early days. Of course, we can say that beautiful saying of mine, which is that there's plenty of Pokemon left to play here in the British Pokemon League. Another 10 weeks to go. It is anyone's guess of how that table is going to look come the end of the season. Who's going to get relegated? Who's going to make playoffs? We will find out in the next coming weeks. Thank you all so very much for watching. I've had an absolute blast this week, and so very glad to be back after our little break once playoffs got done. Very excited for the next 10 weeks of action. You can of course catch the rerun of this show on Wednesday on our YouTube channel, and the rerun of the Championship show on Tuesday night at the same time at 7 PM. Catch the Championship show every Sunday at 7 PM, hosted by our very own Draco, and I will see you all next Monday at the same time of 8 PM. I have been your host, Matt Starr. Goodbye and good night. Mwah.